Look, I'm not gonna waste your time, you know what this is. Normally, this is where I would make some witty remarks about the year of 2021 as a whole, but honestly, that would just put me in a bad mood. So, the big number on top of your calendar has changed, and because of that, I'm gonna talk about some anime. 7 of them. I think they're good. Please like and subscribe. Let me know your personal favorites in the comments. Let's go. Out of all the anime originals from the last few years that could potentially have received sequels, Megalobox was not at all one that I was expecting. I really loved the first season when it aired back in 2018, but I was wondering where a sequel could really go from there. The ending of the first season was pretty conclusive, so now what? Well, that exact question is actually what Nomad Megalobox is all about. Good job, you've defeated every obstacle in your way. You're the champion, the number one, the best in the world. Now what, dickhead? Are you gonna keep going, constantly defending your throne to the bitter end? Why did you even want to be the best so badly in the first place? Is your entire life gonna revolve around something so fleeting and insignificant as one title? Was there nothing more to it than just that? I was unsure in the beginning if this was gonna pan out well, but I ended up liking Nomad Megalobox just as much, if not more, than the first season. I also especially appreciate the fact that the anime industry seems to have introduced a new type of infuriatingly hateable villain into its midst, namely the smug, self-righteous entrepreneur. I just really want to punch him, you know? I purposefully tried to keep this list low on sequels. In fact, I was originally planning to ban them all together, but I kinda had to talk about Attack on Titan, so here it is, in an inoffensive number 6 slot. I think it says a lot about the quality of this year's anime that Attack on Titan doesn't even make it to the top 5, but that really is just the reality of things. Don't get me wrong, I really like the direction this season went in. I can only admire this show's ability to constantly switch things up completely and still manage to get only more and more compelling as it goes along. And honestly, the reason why it doesn't rank even higher is mostly the fact that it's just not finished. This entire part was mainly a build-up to what is to come, and even then, it's absolutely incredible. I'm gonna end it there, because if you're not already watching Attack on Titan, then I imagine you're probably sick and tired of hearing about it by now. But yeah, with the likes of this, Megalobox, Beastars, Fruits Basket, and much more, good things continue to be good. Imagine that. Next up is the anime community's little darling from the spring season, Odd Taxi. Down-to-earth urban crime stories isn't something we see a lot of in the anime sphere, and even if it was, I believe Odd Taxi would still be in a league of its own, because despite appearances, this is in fact a really enthralling show filled to the brim with witty dialogue, unique personalities, and a plethora of compelling overlapping storylines that come together in one well-woven narrative. At times, it's almost like watching a Guy Ritchie or Quentin Tarantino movie, which is something I would love to see more of in the future. If I had to give one criticism though, it would probably be that the main mystery the story revolves around is pretty much outshined by everything else going on, and its conclusion isn't anything to write home about, but I'm willing to overlook that, as I think the individual stories and moment-to-moment interactions alone are enough to warrant a heartfelt recommendation. My pick for the number 4 spot, just edging it out against Odd Taxi as my favourite anime from the spring season, is Vivy, Fluorite Eye Song. Another anime original, this time from Studio Wit, telling the 100-year-long story of the world's first fully autonomous android working as a songstress at an amusement park. She's contacted by an AI going by the name of Matsumoto, who was sent from the future to stop a coming war between humanity and AI, and she decides to work with him in order to stop the catastrophe. I've seen people criticize this show for being somewhat generic and basically just a sci-fi reskin of Violet Evergarden, and I will say, yeah, Vivy Fluorite Eye Song doesn't really do anything I haven't seen before. It's basically a series of short stories taking place during the rapid growth of AI technology over the century, focusing on androids pondering the human condition and figuring out their place in the world. Nothing Ousama wasn't already doing in the 60s, but what Vivy does have is cute anime girls kicking ass. But really, what this show is somewhat lacking in original concepts, it does make up for with a really great execution. Despite the fact that it, on the surface, seems like an anime that was specifically designed to be successful, I still think it shows a lot of heart. Like in how it's also a story about how when you think you might have all the time in the world to figure things out, all of a sudden, without you noticing, life has run you by, and it seems like all you can do is look back. I don't know, there was something about this series that really hits home for me, and that's why it's number 4. Okay, I know I was talking earlier about how I took away points from Attack on Titan because it wasn't finished, but Ranking of Kings is so adorable and fantastic that I don't even care that I've only seen half a season. I am a sucker for wholesome fairy tale styled fantasy, and outside of movies, we don't really get a lot of anime like that. It centers around a young prince named Boji, who was born deaf with an abnormally weak body, trying his best to one day become a king worthy of people's love and respect. While the series certainly has a fair share of suspenseful moments, of conspiracy and battle, it never really pretends to be something that it's not, as it always stays true to a very optimistic outlook that people aren't evil, only weak and in need of guidance from the kind and righteous. And you know what, sometimes it's so nice to see such a pure and heartwarming little show climb its ways into the heart of the anime community, sandwiched right between Banana Fish and Evangelion. You'll love to see it. Hey, here's an anime you haven't watched. It's Heike Monogatari. It is not part of the Monogatari series, but is an original anime by Science Saru, the studio behind Ping Pong the Animation and Devilman Crybaby, and it is directed by Naoko Yamada, the director of A Silent Voice. Do I have your attention? So, this anime, that no one seems to talk about, is an adaptation of a classic Japanese epic, telling the tale of the Taira clan, who was the largest military power in Japan at one point during the 1100s, and, spoiler alerts for history, was ultimately wiped out by their enemies near the end of the century. You'd think maybe knowing how the story ends would somewhat ruin your enjoyment of the show, but in fact, Heike Monogatari seems to expect you to already know what happens, as great battles or major historical events are oftentimes brushed aside and only briefly mentioned. Hell, one of the major antagonists in the later parts pretty much dies off screen, and that's because this series isn't about the Taira's history, it's about their personal stories. You really do end up caring about these characters, and the anime really uses the fact that you know most of them are probably going to die in the end to its benefit. The light-hearted moments early on, with the members of the clan growing up together as a family, are juxtaposed with the somber atmosphere later, as they all start to realize that the end is near. And it's all accompanied by great art and music direction all the way through. If you were one of the many people who missed this one, I strongly encourage you to at least give it a chance, because I think it's an incredibly well-told story from the very first episode all the way to the end. In case you're new to my channel and you've still watched this video to the very end, hi! I'm avant-garde, and I'm a pretentious, elitist YouTuber who has a tendency to think too highly of originality and abstract ideas that sometimes come at the cost of traditional storytelling elements that help a narrative make sense. And I also like to hide behind a veil of self-awareness and self-deprecation, thinking that will make people less likely to criticize me. And my favorite anime of the year is Sonny Boy. It was really hard for me picking a single show as my number one of the year. There certainly wasn't any lack of competition, so what was it about Sonny Boy that made me choose it in the end? It absolutely isn't a show for everybody. It's abstract, it doesn't always make complete sense, there are lots of things that just happen without any real explanation. I really wouldn't blame anyone for not liking this show, but the fact of the matter is, out of all the anime that I've mentioned up until now, this is the show that I keep coming back to. And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of concrete praise I can give to Sonny Boy. It has a great cast of characters, and I think the ideas that it wants to present are super well realized. The animation and soundtrack are some of the most beautiful I've seen in years, and at its core, it's a very compelling coming-of-age story about how, even though the world might be fundamentally unfair and humanity exploitative and cruel, there is still something, while maybe abstract, that does make life worth living, something that is worth chasing and hoping for. You know, you'd think after a year of doing YouTube my outro game would improve somewhat, but the thing is, I really don't have much to say here. Please subscribe to my channel. I already said that earlier. You know what? Let's just relax with some nice music, yeah? Yeah, I like this. This is nice. Hey, I bet if you watch until the very end, something cool is gonna happen. That was a lie. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm sorry. Are you still here? Well, aren't you dedicated? Hey, I really do appreciate it, you know? You taking the time to watch my channel, even when I'm just wasting your time like this. It's quite flattering, really. Thinking that there are people who'd want to listen to what I have to say. I'm always excited to read your comments whenever I upload a new video. So, last year wasn't always so great, but at least I got to meet you guys. And don't worry, I still have much more I want to show you in 2022, so thank you for staying, really. I think I should end it now. Happy New Year.